guess you could say, if you weren't eating the cardboard. But
that does have more fiber in it, though.
that's true. But for people that have never have never benefited from that, they don't understand how valuable it is. Because I was anemic when I was a youngster, and I had to take vitamins, and I had to eat before I took the vitamins, and the only way I was going to eat before the vitamins in the morning was to have the school lunches. And because it was reduced menu, or reduced cost menu, or tickets or whatever, I was able to eat a balanced breakfast. Well, because back then schools actually, it wasn't that bad of food. Nowadays it's crap, but back then it wasn't so bad. And it was a benefit to me because I could take my medicine after. I had to eat, and then I had to go to the principal's office and get my medicine. And that's the way it worked. And the benefit that I got from that, kept me healthy. And people that have never had to live with that and understand how that works will never get it. So they're probably cheering, well, they don't need no free lunches. They should get out there and get a job at the age of 8. So they can afford to pay for their breakfast and their lunch at school. Well, that's not the way America used to work. And it's sad to see that we have given up on trying to take care of one another to trying to make a buck off one another. And healthcare, I think, is at the prime position at this point in time to do that, where it's all about taking as much money as possible. Look at cancer treatment. It hasn't really changed that much over the past 20 years. We can send people
to the moon, but we can't fucking cure cancer.
Well, we can't even control cancer. We're still using the chemotherapy and radiotherapy from 20 years ago. So where's all that research and development money going? It's going into the pockets of for-profit pharmaceutical industries.
Well, because they're all in bed together.
They want to be able to keep you on their medication, right, not cure you so you can get off their medication.
So they want to keep you just sick enough to need them to stay alive. Yeah, that's fucking
Welcome
morbid.
to America.
Yeah. Make America great again for who?
So JP, you said you're on the board of Equality Arizona.
We really don't know any better.
I'm sorry. So there's just a little bit of a lag because of this whole internet thing. Sorry about talking over you. So go ahead and.
Oh, that's okay. No, I'm being attentive and just waiting for a pause as well. But I did want to follow up with the current food programs. They really segregate the kids into by giving them, for example, a green ticket, right, if their parents are able to pay for everything, and a yellow ticket if they need partial meal assistance, and then a red ticket if they are on a program that they qualify for because of their parents' income that will give them a free lunch. And so we're teaching our kids, unfortunately, to segregate themselves by the type of access for the programs they need. I'm not sure what it was like when you were growing up, but were you treated the same way as the other students, or did you feel like you were singled out because you were on these programs?
Back then, we had all the same tickets. There was no difference. The only difference was when at the beginning of the week when I took the $2.50 or whatever to the principal's office and paid for my lunch tickets. That's the only difference. But everybody had the same tickets.
For sure.
Nowadays, let's segregate. Let's make sure people feel humiliation, I think, is what people use nowadays. You want to make the child feel bad about the fact that they can't afford a full lunch or pay the full amount for lunch. And that's just horrible.
Which
especially
is really
to a child.
We can make people be more discreet about that if it already happened before, and I think that's one of the other things we should really be pushing for is equitable treatment, irrespective of social economic status. It's pretty clear that was the intention of public schooling, right? And so we're starting to break that up as well, especially with school choice and all of these other stratifications that are going to be harmful for kids who are developing, especially in Arizona.
Well, in Arizona, we don't care about education unless you're a charter school and you're a senator making money off of charter school. Yeah. Oh, wait, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you did, but you didn't mention the
I'm not going to mention the name, but somebody is making bank off of STOs and charter school vouchers while he's writing the laws and supporting the laws and voting on them.
Hurting Arizona more.
Yeah, I mean,
did you guys hear that even the Arizona Republic started pushing back on that a little bit more?
Yeah, it's nice to see that they are doing that. I think that, it's really nice to see when they actually do push back on some of the stuff. I think they just did the same thing to Sylvia Allen. She had this editorial she put in about, when is enough, and they get funded fully and all this other crap. And then who was it that went back at her? That actually said, here's all the facts that you're asking for, Sylvia Allen, and went after her after she made that guest editorial or whatnot on Arizona Republic. And I was like, now, see, that's what we need, is we need our media to start backing the people and actually going after people in the legislature that actually make statements like that.
Yeah, that's really impressive. I'm meeting on the 20th. There's a futurist coming to Tucson. Her name is Rebecca Ryan. And some business leaders have selected the topic of education, where we can have some collective impact in Southern Arizona, because, as you know, when we get larger companies to move down here, if we want economic development, we need to give them qualified people to work for them. And that's just not the case. So we're looking to see how in the next 20 years we can improve our community. Education is the biggest thing that we've decided to tackle. And so it's going to be about 100 Tucson leaders, which I'm a part of, and it's going to be great because we're going to be able to see what we can do as the legislature is just not going to help Southern Arizona specifically, what we can do as a community to really get that going.
Well, I would suggest waiting until after the legislature ends this session. That way they can't put together a quick emergency law that says that you can't do that. Because they seem to be doing that to everybody. They already
tried that, remember?
They've done it to Bisbee. Yeah. They did it to Tempe. Anybody that puts together some sort of city ordinance gets overturned by the state legislature. Yeah.
So did you guys know that Tucson is a charter city, though? So we have a little bit more latitude with that. But still, it's still very risky because a lot of the county can lose funding, even if they can't directly affect the city of Tucson.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. That's like host. Yeah, horrible. And that's what we have. And I'm assuming we see this nationwide, even though we may not have as much information from some of the other states as to some of the stuff that's been happening. But yeah, this year so far.
Well, what other states do you guys have family in or something that you know about?
Well, my sister lives in Washington. So they have it pretty good going up in there. My dad lives in New York, so he's pretty good going up in there. I mean, I have some friends in Texas that I was actually very surprised because one of our friends in Texas, somebody that we know online, was posting the other day, and she's a conservative, and she was posting and screaming about legislation being passed by the Republican legislature in Texas that's going to destroy public schools. And I was like, wow, this was something I didn't see coming. Because she's never posted anything political that I've ever seen. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's posting about some HB blah, blah, blah that's going to basically, it's just like us, trying to put a whole bunch of voucher programs in so that we can take more money away from public schools to put profit into people like Senator blah, 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 because I'm not going to mention his name. Yeah. Who's making bank off of the STOs.
And doesn't recuse himself whenever it comes time for a vote, which is some...
He's writing the bills. Come on. Let's say he's writing the bills and then voting on them. So, yeah.
But you're right about the activists being united with people that you wouldn't naturally assume would want to have a voice. A lot of younger people specifically are looking to affect change either by running for office or supporting candidates running for office. And they might not know how to run a campaign. They've never done it before, but the passion has suddenly been lit. And there's a lot of new players on the field right now. I'm sure you guys have noticed as well. Awakening towards civic engagement across Republicans and Democrats alike.
Yeah. Well, we're actually, more than happy to, expand on the experience that we've had the past 3 election cycles to help people get started. We're not experts by any means, but at least we've been there 3 times, and we actually kind of know what it's like. Because we're trying to actually...
If you could give people 3 tips, what would they be?
3 tips?
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
No. The first tip would be don't go into it expecting to win. Okay, never expect that you're going to be able to win because it doesn't work that way. The second tip would be try to find something innovative that people will attract. It will attract people, okay? Even though it was frowned upon, the event we did when they invited us to do the voter outreach at the strip club, even conservatives in our district were saying, that was pretty cool. So you got to find some sort of hook that grabs attention, not necessarily pushes a message, but grabs attention, because then they actually start paying attention to what you're saying. And the third thing that I would have to say is, God, I hope you have stamina, because it's a bitch to get through all that shit. So those are my 3 top things.
So real quick, I have a question for Kara. So when you were running as a candidate, did you want to run on the issues or did you want to run on yourself and the change that you could affect? And what was the difference in tone in your message?
Actually, though the issues were important, I'll be out front. I'm not a party loyalist, so it was more about the issues. What it was more about the fact of, I don't feel represented by the current legislators. And though I may not be the best person in the world to actually try to represent you and everybody else, I think I could have a different approach, because from what I've seen, it seems like it's like the definition of insanity. Like, we're going to keep doing this same thing and it's not going to work, and then we're going to get mad that we don't get a better result. So I don't know if that really answers a question, but it was more of a wanting to give people a choice for something different if they felt kind of fed up with the way things were currently going.
I'm looking at one of your campaign photos right now, and it says, we need to find new and different strategies for public engagement, and it seems like you were successful in doing that the last time, right? I think that's incredible. That's very cool.
Well, we tried.
I think we did try, and I think the blessing and the curse, and I know I totally stole that from like the show Monk, but seriously, the blessing and the curse is the fact that Scott or I are political. We're not politicians. We're just basically a couple of people.
Pissed off people.
That are just fucking pissed off and not feeling currently represented, and no one else is stepping up to the plate. So it's like, you know what? We have some ideas. We have some strategies that differ from what we've seen. So we're going to throw them out there and see if anybody bites. And we didn't win, but we didn't lose, because we did get a good amount of support from like-minded people, or from people that were maybe kind of on the fence, that are even maybe Republicans but not Tea Party. Is that safe to say?
Yeah. They're moderate conservatives.
Yeah.
And moderate conservatives are not bad. It's extremism on either side that's the problem.
Have you seen a rise in extremism in the progressive sect of the Democratic Party? Because I think for a long time you were the leader. I'm not sure if you still are.
No, I've actually stepped aside from the Progressive Caucus and am actually, hopefully, going to be the new chair, hopefully at the next state committee meeting of the new Arizona Secular Caucus.
Whoop, whoop. We got all the SIGs.
Yeah, we needed 20 signatures from state committee members, and we had almost 100. So I think that we have to wait for the executive board of the Arizona Democratic Party to vote on it at the next state committee meeting. But I think
that's extremely supportive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
One of the things that I've noticed with the progressives is that Since probably this time last year, before the presidential preference primary,